everyone, it's Bella, and today I would like to speak to you about the full moon in Aries that we will have on the 9th of October at 16 degrees of Aries. At this time of year, we have the opportunity to examine our relationships and any workings we do in pairs, really. It is a time where, whether we like it or not, we become aware of the imbalances in our relationships, which can appear as conflicts or conversations or simply an awareness mentally, or whether we are good for each other, where we may need to pull up our socks, or maybe where someone else needs to. This full moon brings a culmination, an ending, a fruition, or a coming together, or a finality of something coming full circle in the Aries part of your chart. This can also be related to something that you may have initiated or initially planted a seed on about 6 months ago. And if it hasn't come full circle yet for you, this could possibly be an opportunity where there could be some final information or pieces coming together for you, or opportunities to maybe, tie up some loose ends or fix something that needed to be fixed. There can be sudden news or a sudden revelation or realization or conversation, message or idea that assists you now in putting two and two together in order to also mentally discern. We do have a lot of intense energy upon us at this time. It hasn't been an easy past 2 years, and it hasn't probably isn't going to let up for quite some time, even though we are having breakthroughs. We have highs and lows always in life, but at this time we've got a lot of things going on worldwide. We're in eclipse season now. We've got a solar eclipse at the end of the month. We have a lunar eclipse in the first week of November. We have Mars stationing retrograde at the end of the month, Saturn stationing retrograde. We just had Pluto stationing retrograde yesterday, on the 8th of October. We also had Mercury just stationing direct at 24 degrees of Virgo. We have so much going on. We've got Mars in Gemini for 8 months. There is just so much going on. And these eclipses that we're having are rocker eclipses. And so we can expect again and still the unexpected, a lot of shakes and things coming up, but we're always being moved and shaken to move closer to where we are supposed to be. You know, when certain things end and other things begin, whether it's people, relationships, jobs, living conditions, places, we always have to know that when one door closes, another door opens, and everything is for our highest good. And we need to stay in gratitude and just keep moving forward the best we can and focusing on our path ahead. Now, this moon is also taking place in the second decan of Aries, which is ruled by Jupiter, currently in Aries as well. That will also soon be moving back into Pisces again. We also have this moon in the nakshatra of Revati, which is connected to the guidance of the soul. And it is very strongly connected to your intuition, which can very much help you at this time to make the right decision. So it's important to pay attention to that inner voice and to signs coming to you, empathy is very, very strong at this time as well. So it's very important to not get burnt out from it. It's important to keep balance when it comes to your empathy for others, especially at this time, because we can be taken advantage of, as well as just, there's so much scams going on right now. Now, the ruler of this nakshatra is also Mercury, which is the main dispositor of the moon at this time over Mars. As the ruler of the moon is Mars, but Mars is in Gemini and is being disposited over by Mercury. That's very powerfully sitting at 28, 29 critical degrees of Virgo at this time. It's a good time to really look at codependency issues and practicing non-attachment. Saying what you mean and speaking the truth, regardless of whether it hurts someone or not. Do not over-compromise and do not say yes if you want to say no. Either way, the opportunities are here to go deeper in our understanding and effects on each other, and to work on that which we want to tip into a harmonious dynamic. What is worth your time, your self-worth? Where and how are you investing yourself, your skills, your talents, your heart, your money, your time? It is also a time of year to not go at things alone. So get help if you need it, speak to someone, get advice, check out the legalities, and get your priorities sorted, at least in your head at this time. We can also be much more concerned about ourselves. We can be emotionally radical and move between seesawing of being emotionally sensitive to others and being emotionally selfish and overreacting. Two areas of life can feel at odds. The mind and feelings may not be on the same page at this time, but 2 points or people need to be integrated into a working balance, if possible. The key is awareness to staying centered. Venus is also conjuncting the sun, and it's a great energy for making love, creating, for art, for deepening love. You may want to express love in quiet ways with Venus now invisible, but nevertheless, love or partners are on the menu. Besides good food, be aware of overindulgence and overspending. The regret could be too late. But this aspect can help us to focus on some good things whilst the world around us spins too fast or in ways we may not like to deal with today. You may feel more attractive with this energy, and you may want to beautify whichever area of life that Libra falls into in your chart, including the areas of Taurus as well as Pisces. This is a great time to tap into nature for grounding, moment to moment gratitude. Tap into balanced pleasure, as well as just appreciating the little things, really taking in what we can be thankful for. If you are looking for love, you may meet some interesting people and have some intense attractions at this time. So love can be knocking on the door for many. A lot of new portals are opening, a lot of connections are happening. People are coming in and out of our lives that are supposed to. So if people are leaving, let them go. If they're coming in, let them come in. We are being connected and disconnected as we should. But during this time, we may feel a little bit less self-confident in some ways. We could feel a little bit vulnerable or shy or even just not good enough. So even though there is opportunities for love, there could be a little bit of a lack of confidence in some way, or maybe feeling that, like you're maybe not ready to say anything yet, or something of that kind. But the Sun's trine with Mars as well as Saturn puts emphasis on getting ourselves sorted out. Ourselves. What is it that you want to accomplish? What fuels you? Getting in touch with yourself at this time is imperative. Sorting out the things that are half done or not working. You'll be able to deal with obstacles and confrontations much better once you know what you stand for and what you are and where you are headed and who's coming along or staying behind. This is a check-in point between you and your environment, the structures in your life and your habits, all habits and patterns. Get practical with this energy so that once the eclipse season is upon us, you are as simplified and as stable as possible. This is great energy for getting the do-do done, as you'll have much more self-discipline and drive for it. It's time to get your house in order. If you don't make the changes necessary at this time, you could have unhealthy energy and stress build up inside of you, as the Sun is also making a quincunx to Uranus. Therefore, do not be surprised if you are inclined now to do things you haven't done before, or if you're suddenly willing to make radical changes that before may have seemed scary or too risky. This, of course, goes for others as well. Unusual behavior could be expected, but at the end of the day, this aspect wants you to be you. So let it all hang out fearlessly and keep channeling that creative energy into positive change, even if it's something as simple as changing your supper routine in order to create more peace within yourself and others. It will be good to exercise or get rid of any extra energy you have at this time in productive ways. The moon opposes Venus and also sextiles Saturn, supporting a deep need for connection with someone else. This will again intensify any relationship dynamics, but again allows for an opportunity to assess what needs to change, as everyone has their own love language. Some can be worked on if conscious willingness is there, others not. It takes two to tango after all. And this goes for all relationships and all pairing, whether it's business, love, it doesn't matter. Mercury, the dispositor and ruling energy over Mars with this moon, currently at a critical degree in rulership in Virgo, is also squaring Mars and trining Pluto at this time. That's just turned direct, opposing Jupiter and Neptune as well. The intense conversations you know you need to have can get ugly, as we can be very touchy with this energy. Most connections and communications could be experienced as a challenge, but on the other hand, can be very supportive in boosting us in standing up for ourselves and furthering plans, but furthering our independence and our drive for freedom and rights as individuals. It is important to not overlook the details as they make the condition of the whole story. Stay aware of whether the drama is needed or actually just petty. Do not compare yourself to others. You are unique. Do you. Others' approval is not needed for you to live in your truth. Regardless, this is an accident-prone energy at this time. Therefore, watch aggressive action, impulsive, emotional reactions, Be more careful when driving, using weapons, knives, cooking. Don't play with fire. Don't leave any romantic candlelit dinners unattended. If you feel confused or overwhelmed by too much information, or just too much of anything at this time, which is very much a possibility, take a step back for a few days before making any permanent decisions. Avoid obsessions, and again, observe and see where the root is. Venus also quincunxes the North Node and validates the possibility that some of us could be creating a crisis situation for ourselves if not doing the work on ourselves that is currently required. It indicates a disruption between our values, our likes, our dislikes, our judgments, relationships, and social behavior versus our destiny path, our purpose, and our life's lessons, and our spiritual path. As we know that our lives are not just ending in the physical plane, but is endless, a spiritual journey. If we do not do the work or make the changes that we already know we need to make deep down, then we will continue in our detrimental patterns, and in some cases, this can also manifest in disease. Your path will create a fire in you. So get back into your body and start paying attention. Mars is also squaring Neptune, and this can have us feeling discouraged in some area or not good enough, like I've mentioned before, say in a love situation. We may have to deal with someone's demoralizing news or opinion. The important thing is to stay true to your path, even if your decisions are incorrect in someone else's understanding, even if someone else doesn't see your worth. Be willing to face this and handle it like a boss, because ultimately it's moving you where you need to be. Think about the bigger picture. Good or bad, you will feel better in the end if you man up to whatever it is you're doing or did. And remember, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. In some cases, we could be dealing with past issues that come back for us to deal with. This moon will open up secrets and can bring up all kinds of underlying truths. Remember, we are all human. No person is more valuable than you are. We are all equal under God. Accept it, learn, change, ask forgiveness if you need to, and move on as best you can. Work on you. The only person you can control is you. Work on your healing, because everything that's being triggered right now is showing you where there's still a rawness that needs to be worked on. Decide where and how you want to spend and invest your energy and your heart. Time is precious. And by all means, avoid any devious actions in order to please others. Do not lie in order to keep the peace or the projections of it. We also have the closing final square between Saturn and Uranus that's now conjunct the North Node. And this has been plaguing us for the last months and also last year of 2021, preventing us from making the changes we want to make, pushing us to want to make the changes we want to make. This struggle has been very intense for many people, which is partly why we are in this groove we are in. We are simply energetically attracting situations, people, and life lessons that assist us and move us to make the break through the wall, to make the changes, the uncomfortable fear-mongering changes that we deep down know we need to make, that are keeping us from growing and moving closer to our whole selves, to independence, to self-sufficiency, to freedom, to non-attachment, to wholeness. It is also bringing in the people and situations and opportunities that we do need. The people that can support you, the real you. Collectively, we can expect more uprisings, freedom versus restrictions. We could experience changes in laws, as Libra also deals with laws, and how it affects the individual with this Aries full moon. It really brings the public's attention to our rights and our individuality and our power as the people. We can expect extreme earth events, and it would be wise to make sure that we do not have all of our eggs in one basket, as we can experience, especially now with the eclipses coming up, being on the financial axis of Taurus and Scorpio. We can expect severe financial shifts, energy crisis, shifts in areas. You know, we can expect nuclear news with Pluto stationing direct. We can just very, very powerful shifts taking place over the next 6-7 months. But especially now, I would say October, November are quite potent. And the world as we know it is changing. So it's important for us to stay flexible and to minimize our needs and be as self-sufficient as possible, and just simplify and purify and make connections with those that are like-minded. Stay on the path of righteousness. Stay on the path of love. Love conquers all. And give your cares to God, because all these things must come to pass. You can also read Matthew 24 verse 6, as well as Revelations 13:17, that are also very highly reflecting everything that is happening above and below. Sensitive organs during this period can be the striated muscles, the penis, the arteries, the blood, the gallbladder, the tongue, the teeth, as well as the head. And we are much more accident prone at this time, so please be aware of that. Just take more time, especially when you're driving, working with weapons, like I've mentioned, all of that, with fire, all of that. I'd also like to share with you the inside degrees for the moon at Aries, 16 degrees. 3 sculptured birds, 1 black marble, 1 white marble, and 1 solid gold. Genius, an extraordinary consciousness in a threefold sweep of the phases of intelligence, coming into its fullest domain. At first, the naive confidence in the mental powers and in your own ability to know what everyone needs to know and do what everyone needs to do. But later on, there creeps in, and always was there hovering, the terrible knowledge that you know nothing, understand even less, and are operating in the dark. This can be terrifying, but is also redemptive in radical measure. Then there comes a synthesis, a cooking up of the raw intelligence into a vital grasp of the essentials in life, and in particular of your own place in this world, with a brilliant awakening to the total design and how your own awareness is perfectly poised in the center to reflect all that is, truly. And then I'd like to read to you also the inside degrees for 28 Virgo, where Mercury, the main dispositor of this moon, is sitting at. Autumn leaves pressed into a book. The mind is a funny thing. It pores over experience with a fine-tooth comb, yet only sees what it expected to see. The mind programs itself, indoctrinates itself thoroughly and intensively in the fine art of imposing the familiar and the assumed upon all of life. This is a maddening way to operate, yet it does not register as being so. Instead, you like it this way, prefer it, advocate it, simply because it is self-reinforcing and self-perpetuating. You are after elaborate confirmations and validations that the little self is perfectly splendid just as it is. And you will be sure to get these. The transaction is guaranteed. But there is an unknown self who cannot breathe in this atmosphere and who knocks at the door seeking entry and is not very pleased to be tuned out and pushed away and told that we are fine as we are and do not need to be stirred up by the voice of the rest of existence. Thank you for your time and listening. I also highly recommend listening to my previous recordings on the age of Aquarius, my general astrological forecast for 2021, as well as the Uranus, Mars, and North Node conjunction recording, as well as, very, very importantly for you to listen to, is the Mars retrograde in Gemini. I will put the links in the description box below. These are really good recordings to listen to now to just give you a little bit of a broader view again of what is unfolding in the bigger scope of things. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. Don't forget who you are. Until next time, bye-bye.